Thank you for joining Daniel's Inferno. My name is Daniel. Today's helper is Bender. I have a bit of a Futurama theme going for my last two videos, and that's because for today's video I believe the people protesting the climate action, that what they are doing is about as ridiculous as the solutions Futurama has for fixing global warming.
Ever since 2063, we simply drop a giant ice cube into the ocean every now and then.
Just like Daddy puts in his drink every morning. And then he gets mad.
Of course, since the greenhouse gases are still building up, it takes more and more ice each time. Thus solving the problem once and for all.
But...
Once and for all!
So, today, let's get into it. Greta was in Alberta, Edmonton, at a very inappropriate time, many people believe, actually, because it's an election cycle. She's pulling away from what is important at the moment, which is people focusing on national Canadian issues. We have an election in 3 days. Am I saying climate change is not important? No, not at all. Obviously, I think that protecting our world for our children is important for us. However, the way these people are going about it, I think, is absolutely wrong. So, a lot of people were in Alberta, from all accounts, from the mainstream media. Many people were quoting something like 10 to 12,000 people were in Alberta. And there was also apparently a counter rally from oil and gas workers, because Alberta is actually a giant oil and gas hub in Canada, which is another issue, but we'll get into that a little later. So my personal feelings on Greta, unfortunately, I think what's happening to her and what she's doing is admirable, but she's doing it the wrong way. And I will tell you why. It's because she is a 16-year-old girl who is not emotionally or physically equipped to handle the things that are going on around her. And she is being used like a puppet for people's agenda. Another issue that she actually brought up herself. She's not sure how she's going to get home. The boat she took to get to New York has returned to Europe. It was a racing yacht that had like 0 emissions. Her organization, however, was criticized because the crew returned by plane. Her team claimed the emissions were offset. So, is it any surprise to anyone that this 16-year-old girl didn't even think about how she was going to get home? No, because she's not equipped to do these things. Like many young climate activists before her, they are throwing sections of their life away for a cause that they think is important, yes. However, if people are unhappy with how things are running in Canada concerning the environment, making noise about it is not the right way to get things done. Just have a drink of water. Is the solution to drop ice into the ocean? Or is the solution to take personal responsibility for our own actions? What I'm trying to say is, if Canadians are that gung-ho about making a change in the climate, they should rally together and clean their communities. They should watch how much water they're using, and they should make sure that they're recycling properly and as often as possible. People aren't pointing the fingers where the finger should be pointed. China and India are the largest polluters, and we're looking at countries that actively work and seek at lowering their emissions instead of pointing the finger where it needs to be pointed. I understand China and India are going through an industrial revolution at the moment, so it might be a little unfair, based off the circumstances, to expect them to work on the same environmental plane as us. However, if we really want to make a difference, if we really want to make a change, then we need to include them in the equation and try to include them in the conversation. And individuals should go to the voting booth to make a difference. That is how your voice is actually heard by the people who need to hear it. Not by going out, making a mess of your streets. 10 to 12,000 people. It's not like, I'm sure they made quite a lot of garbage. And instead of doing that, why didn't they go out and clean their community? Let's prepare in Canada for the vote that's coming up. Let's focus on the national issues. Let's let poor Greta get on with her life, focus on the development she needs, and stop using her as a pawn. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Daniel's Inferno. Hit that subscribe button, and I actually have a Twitter now, and I'll include that in the description. Have a nice day.